I ain't got too much to say, but y'all make sure.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DST Sideline Productions, and then we're going to go over, of course, the evaluation of the 2023 offseason for the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins has dove into contendership for the past couple of years since drafting first-round pick quarterback from Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa. They got Tyreek Evans and possibly one of the craziest offseason moves of all time after being part of a contending team with the current Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, to be an all-pro speedster, running back with the best duo with Jalen Waddle, and possibly with the best elite defensive unit after trading a couple third-round mid to second late-round picks for one of the best D-backs out of Jalen Ramsey over this offseason. There is a massive possibility. They tried to adjust over their linebacking core with getting Channing Tindall from Georgia, Eric Azuma to help over with that receiving core depth to be a slot, Cameron God to help with that outside linebacking position, and Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson at least has more of a plethora of, seniority on him. He had the most production done for his rookie season. He's played 7 and had to start even a postseason, keeping a neck and neck performance. Still not cutting out with a passing touchdown over his 7 games he played, with a loss to the Buffalo Bills over the wild card series. They ended over 9-8 with a mediocre record after having a 8-0 run with Tua Tagovailoa starting. They started winning at least 6 straight games over in the middle of their bye week around week 11 and just lost 5 straight. No, they lost around 5 straight against interdivisional opponents. The Bills again, twice in a row, especially that, oh my god, that wild card performance where they kept it neck and neck with Skylar Thompson starting. They're a good high-octane offense. They had some great games against the Cincinnati Bengals. Their first game against the Baltimore Ravens that went over 38-42, that had Tua going in a huge arms race with Lamar Jackson, picking up the major upset over that poor clock management over the Bills that already got them over losing their first 2-game winning streak, and then fell short, losing their next 3 games against the New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals, and the Minnesota Vikings. But around that span of 7 to week 12, they were the hottest team in football before Tua suffered that massive concussion. He had 2 straight concussions that were poorly evaluated over the staff. Hopefully Tua can stay healthy. So I'm sure over the offseason, a major priority for the Miami Dolphins is, of course, offensive line depth, more experience over the midfield, a more effective pass rush. I like Jerome Baker, Jalen Phillips. I've rebuilt it with this team before. Roquan Davis. Around the middle of the season, they traded over a 5th-round pick from Bradley Chubb from the Denver Broncos. Xavier Howard is still one of the more selective known defensive players over the backfield with Brandon Jones. They drafted for Cam Smith, and they got Jalen Ramsey over the offseason, over a massive trade that most people would say would be one-sided, knowing Jalen Ramsey's production. Well, we gotta say, Asian corners go a long way. There's only so much you can get over for a bang for your buck. So I won't say that this is really a negative, knowing they've been trying to target, rushing depth for the past couple seasons, knowing it's been on and off for them. The most that they've had is Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson that came from the San Francisco 49ers last time I checked. they're good rotation over the rushing scheme, but I don't think they're much that can do when you already got an undersized, uh, route rushing machine that can also be good off the deep ball by Tyreek Hill, but he can't really be stopped over red zone threats unless he's beating some guy up the uprights. So somebody that can, outsize their opponents, and this is a while losing Mike Gesicki to the New England Patriots. So Dorham Smith, the second string tight end, will be taking over in the starting position. That I feel like was more effective than Mike Gesicki majority of the time over the regular season, especially in the red zone positions. So I have a high expectations over this entire team, knowing like they can get in massive stretches of wins. They have a high scoring offense. They have a young quarterback that has, still has a young ability, has a good arm, good ball, you know, has durability issues due to his injury history. Now they got David Long, an aging but still in his prime linebacker that can head over to that left side. Mike White from the New York Jets that had some decent but not impressive, you know, times. They re-signed Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert for 2-year extensions. Duke Riley, Mike Gesicki left for New England. Braxton Berrios, They got a divisional opponent to help over in that slot position that's good off the red zone. Feeney from the Jets as well. They got Trent Sherfield left. That sucks. He was a decent, backup receiver. And they let Eric Rowe walk just for Ramsey. So I think they've done existential, effects over the skill positions, and just trying to bump up their backfield, to save over cap. And now the only off-season moves that, because we still have a couple of months before we start the regular season. So trying to get a well-known guy over to support your backfield, Dalvin Cook has been an option, just to get that rotational, well-known face over to rush the ball. Dalvin Cook is high productive, health has a poor health history, but good over to bail out over the red zone and get something to stop RPOs. So the Dolphins don't become a predictable force on the backfield. So I have expectations that we might get a double-digit win season for the Miami Dolphins this season. I would really want to see the AFC East actually be an exciting division to watch football, because the Patriots didn't have the best season last season. We know that the Jets started off hot, but closed out losing 6 straight when they were in the midst of making it over in the wild card. And the Dolphins, they killed it. And we don't know how much is still in the tank. We know that Josh Allen has so much in the tank, but the Bills just can't make it through the divisional round, while in the 90s, the Bills couldn't just make it through the Lombardi Trophy. While I feel like it's a way bigger and better team, but Dalvin Cook could be up there. He's been a 4-time Pro Bowler. He stretched around 1,100 yards with getting 1,500 around the 2020 season. And he stretched out playing a full season of football last year, keeping over Madison with him being a restricted free agent. And don't forget, there's still 2 years, 52, around 2 years, 52 years of DeAndre Hopkins' contract of a prime red zone threat over the deep ball. Imagine if it could be Kansas City that hasn't had a really flagship receiver since Tyreek Hill left, scoping around Juju Smith-Schuster and still making that a receiving core. Imagine if Hopkins goes there, or to the New Orleans Saints, that would really, really get a bump up, or the Raiders with Garoppolo and Devontae Adams. I feel like that would be OP as hell, just to bail out Garoppolo if he starts playing mediocrely. So there could be still a plethora of options. And don't tell me like Miami is still not a bigger option, a bigger market option that possibly has a couple space. Even though I think they're trying to save up around 15 mil for an aging halfback out of Dalvin Cook. But there's only so much you can do with still a 30-year-old DeAndre Hopkins, and knowing how much the collapse of the Arizona Cardinals. Uh, this could actually be in the advantage of the Dolphins if they're still trying to be a big threat, because currently they're the second best team over in the AFC East. So if they could try to manage Hopkins to bail out over the rushing rotation instead of waste over Dalvin Cook, imagine. So I'm expecting a 10-7 record for the Dolphins. If they can get over a stretch and Tua can stay healthy, and their defense can efficiently try to close out over games, because there's games where Dolphins allow too much high scoring offense, around at least 25 to at least 21 points, and close over their depth. They still, even with their backup quarterback, uh, they still gave the number one team in the AFC East a run for their money. There could be so much done for the Dolphins if they still want to get a name for themselves in the NFL and come the 2023 season. So, tell me how you guys feel down below. You guys feel like the Dolphins can actually make a run? Or you feel like they just need a couple more seasons under their belt with so much you can do with Tyreek Hill that's possibly going to retire soon? Their young defense could actually make a break for it, getting an All-Pro. And just the momentum can go over their, schedule. Because Miami Dolphins, I don't know. I think they still have a top 10 difficult schedule in the NFL. And it's already been leaked who they're playing off against. I'll be possibly there for the home opener for the Jets versus the Bills, week 1. But they'll be off over to face off against the Los Angeles Chargers, a top-ranking offense. So that's going to be an exciting game. Then they got a divisional matchup against the New England Patriots. So they're already starting a terrible home advantage. Terrible misadvantages, not playing their first home game until a matchup against the Denver Broncos. That was a top 5 defense, even though they were mid. They are still a great defense, and they just got Sean Payton. Then they got the Bills. Then they got the Giants. Then they got the new-looking Panthers, but then they got to take a short stop against the Eagles. And then they got the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a run over the middle of the season, guys. Half these games are not going to be easy for the Dolphins. They won't even be playing Aaron Rodgers until week 12. So they're closing off against the second half of the season, facing off against playoff-bound teams like the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills, possibly Commanders and Raiders, and then they got the Super Bowl champions around week 9. They won't be playing possible bottom-tier talent unless they get the not the Giants, the Panthers, or the Commanders. The rest is fair game, depending if they make the playoffs or not. So, just keep with a steady mind that most of these teams coming out of last season will be completely different. So thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you think the Dolphins can make it, hopefully to the big game. And that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed your Memorial Day.